In this video, I talk about how you can use tech to try and become a better student in this world of online classes. You might be asking how am I qualified to make this video, and the answer is I'm a high school student who makes music and videos for fun. And that's no joke, making videos takes a lot of time. So I'll tell you how I managed to study productively during online classes and what tools I used to help me. A disclaimer though, everyone thinks and works differently, so my method may or may not work for you. But I think it's a great starting point for making changes to how you study and attend classes. This is going to be divided into 4 parts: what I did before class, what I do during class, and what I do to manage my time and what I do while studying. This is one of the most important parts of becoming more productive. These tools help reduce the feeling of I don't want to do this when you have to join class. First of all, what you should do is decide where you're going to take your classes and stick to it every day. Clean up the place, whether it's the dining table or your study table or anything. I found that when I keep my table clean, I'm a lot more organized during school and I find my books a lot faster. Also, it's just a lot more pleasant to have a clean table. Second of all, split your school and personal web browsing. Do this as well as you can, whether that's using 2 totally different devices for school and personal use or using 2 different browsers. I'm pretty certain that most people don't have access to more than one device though. What I found to help with this is to have different browsers. At the moment, I use an iPad and my school uses Google Meet. So I have the Meet app for my school and I use Safari for other stuff. When I used to use a Windows laptop, I would use Firefox for school and Edge for everything else. Side note, I recommend you use the default browser on your operating system. If you're on Windows, your default browser is Edge. If you're on iPadOS or macOS, it's Safari. If you're on Android or Chrome OS, it's Chrome. The reason for this is that default browsers are usually quite optimized, so you usually have better performance and better battery using them. The reason for the split is so that your brain has some sort of barrier between schoolwork and other work. In school, I would only have Firefox open, and if I felt like opening something else, I knew that I had to use Edge. It takes more time to open another browser, so in that small window, you can stop yourself. You could also use virtual desktops, which is a feature in macOS and Windows 10. All this is purely psychological, but psychology is no joke. Thirdly, come up with some sort of setup for yourself. This actually links really well to the previous point. I found that having a different setup for school makes my brain go into a school mode of sorts, making me a lot more responsible and listen more during class. By setup, I don't mean that you have to go crazy and get a monitor and stuff, or even do what I do, which is put the iPad on a stand, connect my keyboard and mouse and a USB. It could be something small too. If you're on a laptop, you could put it on a stack of books and connect a keyboard or something so that it feels more professional. Anything like that helps. What I found to help is to build up the setup before school starts and break it down after it ends. This just gives your mind boundary between school and personal work so that you use other apps during school lesser. And lastly, there's a matter of headphones. This links to the previous point, using headphones in your setup. This is all a matter of choice. Do you want to use headphones or earphones or not? Choose one of them and stick to it. For me personally, I use headphones during class. So what do I do during school? There are some settings that I utilize and one browser extension that I use to help me focus better during class. You may notice a pattern. Most of these don't like hard block sites without you having any way of accessing it. It just gives time for you to think and the smart part of your brain decide that you don't actually want to open YouTube during class. Firstly, I use the extension Forest. It's available on Chrome, Edge, Safari and Firefox. Forest blocks certain sites for a certain length of time and you can adjust that in the setting. There are 2 modes: block list, which blocks certain sites, allow list, which blocks every site except certain pre-specified ones. I use it extensively during class to help me focus. Secondly, I use night shift or night light on Windows, night mode on Android during class hours. It can be accessed in the settings and it makes the display look more red, which helps my eyes a ton. It also stopped me from getting headaches after class, which is what used to happen. It doesn't directly affect your focus, but it helps a ton when you're in class for a long time. Thirdly, I use focus mode on Android or downtime on iOS on my phone. This is a setting which you can find under digital well-being on Android or under screen time settings in iOS. What it does is it blocks distracting apps on my phone so that I don't pick it up during class. It is also useful if you use an iPad as your main device and Forest is not available or Forest is not free. Lastly, just walk a bit between sessions of sitting. It loosens up your muscles and it's good for you. So how do you manage time after school to finish your homework and study and do other things? Well, firstly, I use a calendar. You can use a paper calendar or anything. I just find that it helps. I use Outlook calendar as a timetable of sorts to figure out what I need to do throughout the day. But I don't follow the timings I've written down to a T. I just use it to gauge what I need to do throughout the day at a glance. Secondly, I use a to-do list. You could use a paper and pen, but I use Microsoft To-Do. You could use any other to-do list application too. The to-do list helps me see what work I need to do in terms of school and when they're all due. It just helps me visually see what all I need to complete and how much time I have to complete it. The My Day feature also helps me plan what I need to do that day and what I need to do later. Lastly, I want to state, however your calendar is, make sure you keep out time to try out new hobbies and figure out what you love to do. It provides a good distraction from schoolwork and it's fun. But remember, balance is everything. So lastly, how does having online resources help studying? Well, a few things have changed for me. Firstly, I've started making my study notes on OneNote instead of a notebook, mainly for reducing my paper usage. For most people, a book is more than enough. But for making notes, what I do is go through the topic and make notes based on that without looking in the textbook. Ali Abdal has a great video about this and it'll be linked in the description. I also started using Anki, which is a service with which you can make flashcards. They have a free Android app and a paid iOS app. You can access it from a browser for free too. I use Anki to memorize facts, and because it's online, it's pretty foolproof. Anki has 4 tags, again, which repeats the question, hard, which puts that question in higher priority for repetition, good, which moves it lower, and easy, which makes it part of the least repeated question. How the repetition works changes based on how often you use the app. Third, figure out some good music if you study with it. If you study with music, figure out a playlist or something. Instrumentals only so that you focus. I usually listen to a channel called SM Young Piano who makes piano and lo-fi covers of K-pop music. If you don't listen to music, skip this step. It is not worth the hassle. Lastly, and possibly most importantly, sleep. Don't lose out on sleep and make all-nighters as rare as possible. I don't think I need to explain the benefits of sleep. Hopefully you found this informative. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. Peace.